commission will not call me that he couldn't make it. Now, at this meeting, I know everybody has their differences, but I expect everybody to treat each other with respect. And I don't want no yelling or shouting, because if there is, whoever does it, out the door. So, let's proceed. Okay, we're gonna be speaking about ethanol. We have citizens here. Do you have any comments first on either the ethanol or the finance?
I do.
Go ahead.
Do I need to get up here?
Yeah.
I just have a question. Really, I kind of haven't heard anything about this for a while. I'm Carol McTell, speaking on behalf of the concerned citizens of Curwensville, and I kind of would rather wait until after I hear what Sunnyside has to say, because like I said, I don't know where they are, but I'm just questioning the permit application and the criteria on that, and I wondered how many of those criteria you have met.
You're talking about the local, the
Yes.
13 points.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Which permit application are you referring to?
The one, the building.
Building permit?
Yes.
I don't think that's been applied for yet.
Well, what has been? Hasn't.
What were the 13 provisions that were?
That was for the land development
land use,
plan.
yeah.
Okay, I guess
Land
that's what
development plan.
I chose the wrong word. I guess that's
Okay.
it.
Well, the idea was that the permit couldn't be applied for, right, until
Those criteria were met.
criteria were met. Is that correct?
No, I don't know that it said the building permit couldn't be applied for. It just, that was what they had to do.
That was a provision of building, correct? Was
I
meeting
think
those 13
they
points.
went to,
Yeah, those were the conditions for the approval of the development plan. The plan was approved, subject to completing those conditions.
How could it be approved before the conditions were complete? I'm just
That's
asking.
the way it was done. It was approved with the 13 conditions that had to be met.
Mm-hmm. It was approved before they were met?
Yes.
With those conditions.
Oh, I see. If they are met, it will be issued.
Well, no, there's nothing to be issued. The land development plan was approved, subject to them completing and complying with these
I
conditions.
guess we're saying the same
And if
thing.
they don't, then they can't proceed.
Oh, that was my question, and I guess, have they?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I guess that's what we'll find
That's
out.
what
I don't know.
that's part of what we're here to
Okay,
learn.
and the other question that I had, I guess this isn't just regular borough council, though, is it? Or the planning commission? Is it one and the same?
no, planning commission is different.
Okay, I just have a question about the snow removal equipment for the borough. Do we have it?
Well, I think
I know we
you're
sold-
aren't you limiting the subject tonight to Sunnyside and to finances?
That's all.
Okay, it's just a comment.
So
I knew
that'll
that
have
was
to
at one
come
of
to
the
the,
meetings,
at the
yeah.
regular council meeting.
Okay, that's what I wondered. Okay, that's really all I have, is that question, as to where that stands right now.
Okay. We had a motion that we passed here at the last meeting. And Sunnyside took exception to the part that says until the time Sunnyside applies for a building permit or permits for the development, provided PennDOT does not require such compliance any sooner than that. And they wanted that out there. Do you want to explain that, Mr. Shaman?
Sure, glad to, thank you. Yeah, at the October 13th meeting, Borough Council did pass a motion, as you indicated, which was in regards to PennDOT's requirements of compliance with some standards they set forth for 2 intersections. And Council gave Sunnyside extra time to comply with all those requirements. It delayed Sunnyside's requirement to comply with PennDOT's requirements until Sunnyside applied for a building permit or permits for the development. And I think you got the same thing that I did. A problem for Sunnyside in that they're not sure exactly when it is going to be that they're going to be applying for the building permits, but that they had been told by PennDOT that they didn't have to comply with PennDOT's own requirements of fixing up those two intersections until they started production.
I remember that, because I had asked if we had that in writing, and we said... that-
I haven't seen anything in writing, but Mr. DeCesar was there, Mark was there, Aaron was at that meeting.
I was down there.
That's my understanding from the discussion at the meeting, when what PennDOT said was that they didn't have to, I guess, have the intersections, the issues resolved at the intersections until the day they open for business, essentially.
Until production commenced.
And that was a verbal understanding?
Yes.
We should get that in writing, I think.
I don't know, I guess we could ask them for that.
There really isn't anything in writing about that we even have to do anything at this time. I expect that those two intersections will have to be addressed. I've asked PennDOT directly several times, and the last time with all you guys present. The traffic that is tripping these requirements will not begin until we have production. That's why the timing is such.
PennDOT has suggested that left-hand turn coming west would be lengthened another 100 feet to make it 175 feet.
Must be. Or
As far as I'm concerned, that's unnecessary. All they have to do is set that left turn signal for another 3 minutes, because you figure 100 feet is not going to do nothing. The tractor trailer, the tractor is 63 feet. The cab itself is another 31, so you'd only have one truck there. So that doesn't do any good. You'd have 3 cars at the most, because the state law says you have to stop 4 feet behind each one. The only way you could do anything if you had to go 500, 600 feet, that would cost you get into $1 million, because you'd have to tear the side of that bank out. That would all have to be shored up to the railroad. So it doesn't really make sense to do any of that. And as far as this light, PennDOT made studies, and there was no requirement for that.
None of it's required or will be required until we begin production.
so what's this clause that's in question then? Can you repeat
It's
that?
that they can delay compliance until they apply for a building permit. What they would like to do is have the time period when they have to comply moved forward, so that it wouldn't be until they start production,
Which is when PennDOT wants us to.
which is when PennDOT is in.
And that clause says that,
The past motion that was approved says when they apply for building permits, they have to be in full compliance.
okay.
And they're going to start out, and they're going to be applying for a building permit now to meet DEP's requirements on something else.
Well, I guess my question to Aaron was, out of those 13 provisions that we had, the traffic study was one of those, correct?
Right.
Was it that they had to do a traffic study, or that the traffic study had to be approved by PennDOT before they could proceed with building? What was the provision? Do we have that? Anybody have that
I
here?
don't remember the exact language of the condition. We required them to do a traffic study.
Does anybody have that here?
I'm just looking. I think that probably was in your requirements here, and I don't, and we incorporated those in this.
That was back in June, right? When we approved it, when the council approved the land use plan.
That's correct.
There's a requirement that Sunnyside shall make all improvements deemed necessary for the project to Cooper Road, Schofield Street, and River Street as determined by the borough and its engineer. Necessary improvements shall be based in part on the borough's and engineer's review and acceptance of recommendations contained in reports on the pavement investigation and traffic impact study being conducted by the applicant and to be provided to the borough.
So it's at our discretion based on the feedback that we get. PennDOT says, as it stands, the traffic study isn't going to fly. But what I'm hearing is that we're saying, the council is saying, that's cool for now, but it's going to have to be addressed prior to
Our
general
traffic
operation.
study does say that those two intersections have to be addressed.
No, Mr. Caesar, I'm referring to PennDOT's letter that we went over, which said that the traffic study is going to need to be